Hello, my friends. This is Chris Biffle on Whole Brain Teaching Live. We've got an incredible program for you tonight. I'm just going to take a second here and set up my screen before we get started. Hello across America. Russia has signed on tonight. Svetlana from Russia. And we even have a teacher from Sao Paulo, Brazil. So let's get started with this incredible program we have coming up tonight. It's called Prove It. Whole Brain Teaching. As I said, I'm Chris Biffle, wholebrainteaching.com. Let's jump right in. Now, the first thing you might be wondering is about professional development credit. Well, you can get it, and a copy of all the slides, and you're going to need the slides tonight because there's a lot of them. See a note at the end of the broadcast. This is program 506. Don't worry about writing that down. I will remind you later. Here is Mr. Franklin. I've got him here with me in my studio in Yucaipa, California. Mr. Franklin, what on earth is Prove It? And accompanying Mr. Franklin is Biffy B. He always has kind of some little smarty remarks. Prep for law school? Those are some good questions that Mr. Franklin and Biffy B are asking. So what is Prove It? I'll tell you up front, it's something that's going to change your teaching life. But that's what we always do at Whole Brain Teaching. Short definition of Prove It. What is this remarkable whole brain teaching technique? It turns state test questions into a game that improves students' scores on state tests. Let's just stop right there, my friends. So we've all got these state tests. We're all so nervous about them. But what if we could take these state test questions, they're called release test questions, sample. What if we could take those questions, turn it into a game that kids could play every day, and playing that game would get them ready to get sky-high state test scores. Anybody out there who's feeling like, oh, Coach B, that's pretty exciting. Got any excitement out there in the audience? Let's see. Greetings from Southern Utah. Jesse. Oh, Deb says yes. Jesse just got on and she's kind of interested. Budsley says she's thrilled. Yes, any way to make it fun. So exciting, says Deb Weigel, with about 15 Deb Weigel exclamation marks. All right, let's go to our next slide. Introducing a new friend of mine, DD Bluebird. DD Bluebird, we'll hear from her quite a bit tonight. Prove It is based on a method, 5 a day, 10 a day, developed by Principal Linda Michaels of 6th Street Prep in Victorville, California. I first saw it and heard about it there. My mind was blown. And this is a school with some of the highest test scores in California. 10-finger woo for Linda Michaels, says DD Bluebird. DD Bluebird is named for my incredible, brilliant, warm, loving, beautiful wife, Deidre Biffle. What a lucky boy I am to be married to a woman like that. I don't know how I got so lucky. DD Bluebird. Here's Mrs. Connerly. As many of you know, she was my 6th grade teacher, and she talks like this. Groovy gumdrops, how does Prove It work? We're going to tell you how Prove It works, Mrs. Connerly. Take a look at this. Just look at it for a second. You ask a question. This is our 5-step lesson template, folks, that we talked about last week. It's all online, 1-hour program, plus we describe it in our ebooks. So in the 5-step lesson template, you ask a question, you give an answer, you expand that answer with details, and then you test for comprehension. 2 very, very simple tests, yes, no way, and QT. We described them last week, and Prove It is this wonderful way of testing for comprehension using state test questions in game format. That just shows you where it fits in the big whole brain teaching design. And then you follow that up with some critical thinking. So you didn't need to see last week's program, but you're going to love Prove It. Okay, how do you start? Excelente question. You see, Biffy B says, Excelente question. That shows he's bilingual, my friends. Biffy B is not just monolingual insect. He's got a couple of linguals going on there. So let's just get down to the basics of Prove It. Right now, Prove It has two levels, 1.0 and 2.0. Why do we have levels? Kids love levels. You know they do. So this is just the beginning. Watch how this slowly develops. Here's the next slide. I want you to rewrite sample test questions. Incorrect answers, distractors, should represent the most common student errors. And I'm going to stop right there. Listen, my friend. The problem with the release test questions that you're seeing, there's usually one question that's just out to lunch, a bonehead question, a wacky question. Rewrite those answers so that each one is pretty close to what a kid would say. Get together with your grade level teams and figure out, well, when kids look at this question, what are their most likely errors? We'll call those distractors. Go back to the screen. Use a computer projector to display the questions to the students. Then students describe how to solve the problem, how to solve, HTS. And students also use the process of elimination, POE. I'm sure a lot of you are using the process of elimination, so we've woven that right into this game. The class earns points for excellent effort and accurate answers. The points are cashed in for a special prize. All right. Here it is. We rewrite the state test questions so they're really hard and they duplicate the kind of student errors. We project the questions. The kids try to answer them using a special technique called how to solve. And then they throw in the process of elimination, which a lot of people are using. And then based on how they do, they earn points that they can cash in for a special prize. So they're working hard so they can get this special prize on Friday. Oh, and it's not candy. It's something they love even better than candy. But I'm not going to give that away yet. Oh, Indio, Justine, glad to have you online. Let's take a look at our very next screen. Here's Prove It 1.0. Here's the setup. Before the students record their answers, they should make the following on their whiteboards. They should put the letters HTS, that stands for how to solve. And in this section, students are going to explain in writing or to each other how they would solve the problem before they solve the problem. And then A, B, C, D should be left for answers. Let's look at a whiteboard. There it is. HTS up on the top, how to solve. And then A, B, C, D, those are the possible answers. This is the basic whiteboard for Prove It 1.0. You can add other notes as you'll see. I know Clayton Hill down in Indio, California has other notes that he adds. But you're going to see the power tonight, my friends, of HTS, how to solve. Let's look at this. Let's look at a second grade math question. A number has 9 ones, 6 tens, and 8 hundreds. What's the number? This is straight second grade math question lifted from California release test questions. So under HTS, how to solve, the kids explain how you're going to solve this problem. Well, perhaps you've told them you should underline. Or perhaps you've told them you should make columns, ones, tens, hundreds. Hundreds are 8, tens are 6, ones are 9, and then use the process of elimination. Let's just stop here for a second so you just focus on this. Here's what's happening when kids are taking the state test questions. They look at the question And then they go through some mumbo-jumbo in their mind to try to figure it out. But you have taught them how to solve each of these questions. So, when you're playing Prove It, they're involved with how to solve before they even get to the question. You know how you do it in class. Say, well, now, if I say this, what do you say? And if I say this, what do you say? You're showing them how to solve it. Give them a chance after you've shown them how to solve it to put it into their whiteboards. Either they write down what the how to solve is, or they explain it to their neighbors. Tell me if you're with me so far on this how to solve. Before you jump into the problem, how are we going to solve this question about place value? Jesse, you're with me? With you? LA teacher with you? Okay. Love it so far. You guys are getting it, right? Oh, Chris Rexted, let's just stop a second. Chris Rexted is online, co-founder of Whole Brain Teaching. We just talked about it this weekend. That's how new it is. He says he tried it today and it worked beautiful. So pay attention. Yes, he says he asked them to list the parts that they needed to solve the problem. And Chris, it worked good. All right, here we go. 10-finger whoop. Now, if you are with me now, I hope you're watching this broadcast sitting down because it's just going to get better and better. Let's just look at a whole bunch of second grade math questions, then we'll go to fifth grade. All right, what is the value of 5 in 526? Don't just ask them to solve this. Ask them to write down or explain, how do you solve it? Underline, or make columns, or just look at the hundreds, or you put all that stuff down, and then process of elimination. Over and over and over again, show them the test questions, ask them how to solve it. If they don't know, reteach how to solve this stuff. Another test question. Which number sentence is true? They say, you know what, my little second grade friends, how do you solve these kinds of problems? Don't get all nervous about just how do you solve this kind of problem? Well, you could put down this sign means greater than, this sign means less than. Get them to write it down or get them to explain to their neighbors so you can listen. Do they know how to solve it? Read the answer like it was a sentence and then process of elimination. Yes, the beauty of how to solve. More second grade math questions. I got to stop here. I got to stop. You know what's going to happen, don't you? Tell me, what's going to happen? What am I going to do now? What's Coach B going to do now? I'll just wait. I'll see if you know Coach B really well. You know what I'm going to do. Yeah, you do. I'm taking off the glasses. Yeah. Here's the deal, which hit me like a lightning bolt in the last couple of weeks. We teach kids how to solve these problems, and there is a way for how to solve every stinking problem. Well, let's incorporate the how to solve step as a discrete unit before they get into the problem. And I'm going to show you a powerful how to solve tonight for reading comprehension questions. Would you just tell me how excited you are to find a how to solve for those long reading passages that drive kids crazy? If you'll stick around tonight, and if you're really good online, maybe I'll show you how to solve those. Oh yeah, I got excited myself, and I know how to solve them. All right, you need reading help. That's what I was hoping for. Yippee, you guys are wonderful. Whole brain teachers are the best. Let's look at a couple more sample how to solve. Now, pay attention. So you may want to add some other little marks to the whiteboard. And whiteboards, a class set's going to cost you $30. Go buy some. For math, you may wish to add plus, minus, multiplication or division, and ask students to circle the correct operations. So I'm not saying how to solve is the only thing that you can have up there. If you want to put other stuff, go ahead, But don't do it right away. Do this incrementally so it feels like a game to the kids. Oh, you kids think you know how to solve? Well, what if I put plus, minus, multiplication, and division? Will you be able to circle the right one? These are critical thinking prompts that kids will be giving to themselves as part of the how to solve process. Now, let's go to 5th grade math. What is the decimal 0.7 written as a fraction? Well, this is a real stumper for kids. But first they need to think, how do I solve this problem? If they're thinking about how to solve it, the problem solves itself. I'm going to say that again. That sounded good to me. If the kids are thinking about how I solve this problem, the problem evaporates. It solves itself. I got a fancy word for this that I might use later. So how to solve? You put down whatever you want. I'm not telling you that you should use my technique for 5th grade math. I don't teach 5th grade math. I teach philosophy at college. But how to solve? Maybe they're going to say 0.1 is tenths, 0.01 is hundreds. There must be a 10 in the denominator because 0.1 is tenths, and then process of elimination. I want you to go in tomorrow and just ask your kids, show your kids some questions and say this. Don't ask them the answer to the question. Just say, how would you solve this? If they don't know, teach them how to solve it and then show them some questions and see if they can say back to you, oh, that's how you solve when you're changing a decimal to fractions. That's what you do. You don't teach them the problem, you teach them how to solve it. Everybody with me? I feel like you're with me because I'm getting more and more excited. Must be the electronic vibes coming to me out of the screen. I'm so excited, I'm going to have to cool down here with a drink of, one of my special drinks. Yeah, you're with me. Yes, Alice Song, I know. You're right, Educate. 95 viewers. All right, here we go. Back to work, my friends. We got so much wonderful stuff to do tonight. Notice I went from 2nd grade math to 5th grade math just to prove to you and to myself that how to solve is a universal way to simplify taking state tests. Which of the following shows the number 60 factored into prime numbers? Now, I took some math years ago when I got so depressed about teaching. I thought, geez, I got to get out of Southern California. I have to be a math teacher. Those were depressing days. So how to solve? Keep going until you get to the smallest numbers. Or you might write down a prime number only has 2 factors, itself and 1, and process of elimination. So how to solve starts with how to solve, and it always finishes with process of elimination. Great way to check for vocabulary understanding. You're absolutely right, Jesse. Another 5th grade math question. Javier bought 9 pounds of ground beef. He saved $8.30 by using a store coupon. How much did he save per pound of ground beef? Kids, don't jump into the problem. Think about, how do you solve these kind of problems? Well, if you've had the addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, you're going to tell yourself, it can't be addition. I can't add 9 and 8.37. I can't subtract and I can't multiply. It's not addition, subtraction, or multiplication. It must be division. And per means for each. Division. Dirty monkeys smell bad. Dirty monkeys smell bad. Do you know what that stands for? I just learned it from a 5th grade teacher. And then process of elimination. Anybody out there know about dirty monkeys smell bad? Division. D, dirty, divide. Dirty Marvin smells bad? Oh my gosh. D for divide. M, monkey, multiply. S, smell, subtract. B, bring down. You're right. Long division process. Thank you, Indio Justine. But now you got it. Well, Chris, thank you so much. You're not dissing my Uncle Marvin. You wouldn't do such a thing because you're the big smooth. Let's keep going. Another 5th grade math question. I know you're rating for reading comprehension, but just wait, my friends. At a school, there are 704 desks to place into 22 classrooms. The same number of desks is placed in each classroom. How many desks will be in each room? How do you solve it? Don't solve it. Think about how to solve it. It can't be addition, subtraction, or multiplication. Divide little into big. Dirty monkeys smell bad. Process of elimination. You see how simple this stuff becomes once you figure out how to solve it. We got somebody in Singapore who's digging this stuff. Now, pay attention. You could add other codes, other prompts, other critical thinking cues to your whiteboard if you want. You could add KW for keywords or key number. Add one note at a time every few weeks. That's a good way to keep the game fresh. Let's talk about keeping the game fresh. Prove it fresh is the key to year-long student engagement. You know what's going to happen now. You know. Yeah. I got to take off my glasses. This is huge. So I'm going into classrooms now since I'm retired, and I'm watching teachers, and I'm watching them teach really hard. And I'm seeing a lot of kids, even though the teachers are teaching hard, they're not engaged. They're tired. They're dreamy. Their heads are on their desk. But if the teacher says, we're going to play a game now called Doozy, oh yeah, eyes light up. The whole thing with Prove It is, this is a game we're going to play all year long. So as you tweak the game, it keeps it fresh. So start with HTS in math. Then you could go with HTS and keyword. HTS, keyword, key number. Add a little bit every once in a while. And I'll show you some other ways later on to tweak this game. But don't start out with all this stuff. Say, oh, you kids think you're really pretty good at HTS. Well, what about could you do HTS, how to solve, and write down the key number? Write down. Can you do that? Let's just see. New challenge for you, boys and girls. Kids love challenges, especially if you give them the kind of challenge that you know in your heart, they're going to jump all over. Let's go to our next screen. Now, language arts. Here's the beauty of HTS. I'm sorry I put my glasses back on. You use the same pattern for math and language arts. How to solve. Are you digging it now a little bit? A generic solution to how to increase student test scores, math or language arts, 2nd grade or 5th grade? I got a feeling it might work at 3rd and 4th and 6th and 7th. HTS. How do you solve this problem? Talk to me, my friends. So great, says Goforth. Amber Nash, you're getting it. Budsley, please stay on topic here. Yes. That's right. Square root teacher, just wait and see. 96 viewers, says Deb Weigel. Thank you so much. Everybody's getting it. Makes test prep fun. That's the whole idea. You're right, Mrs. Doodle. Let's look at the screen again. So, same as what we did in math. Language arts, Prove It 1.0. You start this way, HTS. Let's look at some 2nd grade language arts questions. Find the word that has the same sound as the underlined letter or letters in the first word. Well, I don't know how 2nd grade teachers are teaching kids how to solve this, but they should be teaching them some way how to solve it. I'm thinking drop the letters and find a rhyme. Or, then process of elimination. Scared and or? No, that doesn't rhyme. Card and or? No, that doesn't rhyme. Boat and or? Well, they both got OA in them, but it doesn't rhyme. Board and tore? Or and tore? Oh, yeah. That is the same sound. So whatever technique that second grade teacher wanted to use, get them to think about the technique before they answer the question. Here's what's happening. Kids are sitting there. So much pressure already. And the questions are coming at them, and they're just going, oh, I don't know what do I do here? Yeah. Calm down, my little friends. Look at the question. Don't let the question break your spirit. Just ask yourself, how do I solve this? Oh, yeah, synonym. 2 words that mean the same thing. That's how I solve it. You know how to solve it? You got the answer. It's just process of elimination after you know how to solve it. Just occurred to me. If you know how to solve it, it's just process of elimination to find the answer. Let's look at another typical second grade question. Yes, boat was a distractor. It was an outstanding distractor. How should the word important be divided into syllables? Well, second grade, how are you going to teach this? I'm thinking, tell the kids to read slow. Remind kids that maybe you're using the word onto as an example of syllables. On, 1, 2, second syllable. Deb Weigel, tune in here and help us a little bit. How you're teaching kids what syllables are. And that's right, think aloud. Very good, Deb Weigel. That's model how to solve, thinking aloud. And then read these slow. Important, important. Important, important. So if you read it slow, you know how to solve it, you can answer it. Clap the parts, march the parts. Very, very good. Yes, Deb, great suggestion. Every syllable has to have a noun. Really? I don't think so. Hands under chin, yes. Oh, Nancy Stoltenberg is online. I am so happy to have another one of my great Palmdale interns. Thanks for joining us, Nancy. You and Palmdale Heather are going to change the high desert, as you know. That's no surprise to you. Let's keep going, my friends. I know you're waiting for those reading comprehension questions. All right, here's another question from second grade LA. Read this line from the poem, "A seed is so small." The line from the poem gives you information about what? Think about the question and how to solve it. Maybe underline keywords like seed and small. Or use the crazy professor where we bring words to life. Process of elimination. When you show kids questions like this, how do you solve it? Let's look at another one. Which words are synonyms? Before you even get into the question, kids, what's a synonym? Well, we've got power picks that teach synonyms. And then find 2 words that have similar meanings. And process of elimination. You know how to solve it? You solved it. Process of elimination. Now, here's how you could change the whiteboard to keep the game fresh. You may wish to add KW for keywords or PP for power picks. We use power picks that we generated that teach kids state standards or any other category your students would find useful. Now get ready. Is everybody sitting down? Are you sitting down, Tamara Lindsay? Deb Weigel, you sitting down? Please. Chris, thank you. You're sitting. All right, here we go. It's going to knock you out. Going to be a lot of knockouts coming. Here comes the biggie. Ha 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 ha. I don't know if I'm going to show you the biggie. I just don't know. You know what? I'm just going to take a break here because I just got to feel like you're not really that excited about the biggie. I'm just going to sit here and drink my water. I'm just going to look though out of the corner of my eye, see if anybody's excited about the biggie. I'll take a shot here. Ah, that's right. Yes, Nancy. Don't drink, says. Yeah, we're going to have to beg. You're right, biggie. All right, let's do this. All right, Svetlana, you win from Russia. Palmdale Heather, here's the biggie. Here is the biggie. So happy about this. How would you use prove it for reading comprehension? Yes, indeed, that is the biggie. Lori, 73, and Lori, you got all kinds of colors going on there. All right, friends. This is the biggie, reading comprehension. Here's what we got for you at Whole Brain Teaching at your favorite price, free. Now, pay attention. Let's look at 5th grade language arts, reading comprehension questions. There are 3 kinds of ways to solve reading comprehension problems. And I think there's only 3. You either have a how to solve that's an answer now, where you answer the question without going back to the process, to the passage, and then process of elimination, or you use how to solve find and compare the answers to part of the passage, or how to solve is read it again, reread the whole passage. Glasses are coming off. Here we go. I'm telling you right now, this is experimental. Chris Rexstead and I and a few others are working on this, but we feel like we've got something that's so exciting. We want you guys to give it a try. Here's what we're thinking. You got these long reading passages, and we believe, after looking at a lot of questions, there's only 3 kinds of questions. 1, answer it now. The question contains everything you need to answer it now. So it's a how to solve, answer it now. Or 2, you look at the question and the question tells you go back to a certain section of reading. Find and compare. Compare that section of reading to these answers. Or 3, and there's not a lot of these. You look at the question and it's a read it again question. Reread the whole passage. Now, if it is true that there's only 3 kinds of questions in this reading comprehension section, then we teach them how to answer each of those 3 types. Are you feeling it? Are you feeling it? Talk to me. I'll put my glasses back on so you can talk to me. Yes, you're feeling it. Same type in Brazil. That's right, Kamira. They skim and rush. We don't want that. That's right. Budsley, you got it. It could be that easy, Square Root teacher. You feel you. All right, let's check it out. Just check it out with me, my friends. I'm pretty excited here. LA teacher, you're kind of feeling it. All right, just wait and see. Now, first, I'm going to show you some sample answer now. Now, answer now is answer the question without going back to the passage, process of elimination. These are straight off of 5th grade tests. Read this sentence. Mr. Evans comes home at 5:30 and runs for at least an hour. That was in the reading, but they give it to you. It's an answer now. Just relax. It's an answer now. Then you tell yourself, well, how do we answer these now? You use a colon to divide hours and minutes, process of elimination. So if you've taught your kids about this, they don't need to go back. Everything they need is right there in an answer now. Let's keep going. A couple more answer nows. Read this sentence from the report. These courses train students for many specialized and interesting jobs. Which underlined word from the sentence is spelled incorrectly? So if you've got spelling rules, it's an answer now. Just look at it, sound out the syllables, whatever rule you use. Answer now, reading comprehension. Let's look at another one. Read this sentence. Mrs. Malloy, teach us many interesting facts about California history last year. Teach kids that this is an answer now. And then what else do you have to tell yourself about an answer now like this? Last year means past tense. Process of elimination. Let's look at another. Let's look at find and compare. This is a particular type of question. Find and compare. Notice they're going to be very different. Kids don't see the difference in these questions. They're all mushed together. One comes flying at them after another. It's like this, my friends. You're playing tennis. Some balls hit at you are lobs. If it's a lob, you do one thing. If it's here on your right-hand side, you hit a forehand. If it's on your left-hand side, different stroke, backhand. And there's only 3 kind of balls that are coming at you in tennis. Maybe, and I think it's true, there's only 3 kinds of questions that are coming at us on these reading comprehension ones. Teach the kids to recognize the type of question is a major victory. And I'll talk a little more about this in a second. Let's look at one of our find and compare. In paragraph 1, the author shows how Henson became. What are the words there that tell us it's a find and compare? Paragraph 1. So you go to paragraph 1 and you compare paragraph 1 to highly educated. You compare paragraph 1 to skilled seaman. You compare employed in a restaurant to Henson. You compare interested in exploring to Henson. Let's stop. Look, folks. Glasses off. Here's what's happening. The kids are reading this question and they're trying to remember back to paragraph 1. A lot of them are trying to remember. No, you tell them, when this kind of question comes at you, you hit this kind of stroke. You see paragraph 1, go back to paragraph 1. That's the only way that we answer find and compare. Look at paragraph 1 and compare it to the answers. Process of elimination. Ball comes on your right hand, forehand. Ball is a lob, go back, hit it overhead. Ball is backhand, turn your body, sweep that backhand across. Show them the kinds of questions and then what they should do. No guessing, no thinking, trying to remember. Either you don't have to remember, answer now, or you got to go back and look at a part of it and compare the answers, or you got to go back and read the whole thing. Tell me if you're starting to get it now. I think you're starting to get it. That's right. The gestures help the imprint. Repetition Boulevard. 100 viewers. Very good. It's pretty cool, says Educart. All right, totally. Palmdale Heather, you're on board. Remedial reading class, yes. All right, now let's just keep going. All right, we're rolling now, baby. We are so rolling. Let's look at another find and compare. Why did the author include paragraph 3 in the passage? Find and compare. Go back to stinking paragraph 3 and compare the answers to paragraph 3. Is paragraph 3 telling us that Matthew Henson went to the hat shop, or to show how Matthew Henson met Robert Perry, or to show how Robert Perry knew that Matthew Henson had sea experience? Oh, that's paragraph 5. To show why Matthew Henson stopped working on the Katie Hines, that was paragraph 1. Find and compare. If we will just get kids into this pattern, there's some dangers here, I admit, but it's way better than what we're doing. I'll talk about the dangers later. We get kids into this pattern of look at the question, ask myself, can I answer it now? Or is there something in the question that says, go back to a part. Don't remember. Go back to a stinking part and compare. Or I look at this question and, oh my goodness, I'm not supposed to remember. I'm supposed to reread it. 3 strokes. Boom, boom, boom. And how do we teach the 3 strokes? How do we teach the 3 strokes? You hit overhead after overhead after overhead after overhead. Then you hit forehand, 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 forehand. Overhead, forehand, overhead, forehand. Backhand, 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 backhand. You see where this is going? I think you do. We're going to reconstruct the state tests to focus on these three kinds of answers. Oh yeah, we can do that. We got the electronic power to do that. All right, let's look at the next one. Which sentence in the conclusion summarizes the ideas in paragraph 5? Now, this might be a mixed type question. It might be that you got to go back to the conclusion and see if the conclusion is the same thing as paragraph 5. But these are rare. This is one of the little difficulties, but that's what you got to teach them. I mean, we're teaching them. By and large, as I'm looking at the questions, there's one of these three types. Sometimes you say, you know what, kids? Look at this, and if you're in doubt, find and compare and read it again. You know what I'm saying? You might have to mix up these. Be safe. And you can use yes. Now, here's an interesting one. This could be, depending on your kid's understanding, either an answer now or find and compare. What is the correct way to capitalize the underlined part of sentence 2? Go back to sentence 2. That tells you find and compare. Spider rock, this way, that way, the other way. Odds are it is C. Tell your kids, if in doubt, don't answer now. Oh, yeah, let's use that. You got any doubts, don't answer now. But if you give the kids enough answer now questions, they're going to see the ones that they can answer without a doubt if they know how to solve it. Let's keep going. Here is a real tough question. What is the best way to write sentence 13? Now, as soon as it says sentence 13, bingo, it's find and compare. Now, there are 4 different ways to punctuate this thing. So, it says sentence 13, go back, look at the context of the paragraph, and figure out how to punctuate it. One of the toughest questions I've found on 5th grade language arts. But again, if I know what I'm supposed to start to do, which is go back and look at sentence 13, and think about the punctuation, and then use process of elimination. You're right, it is C. Which sentence in the conclusion summarizes the ideas in paragraph 5? Well, paragraph 5, that is a find and compare. Look at the conclusion. Look at paragraph 5. Compare the answers. Process of elimination. That's also right, Chris Rex said. Oral writing is going to make all this stuff a lot simpler with the punctuation. Now, let's look at the third type. This is equivalent to the backhand. Read again. Reread the passage. These are the ones that kill our kids because they don't know what to do with them. Which statement summarizes the main theme of the story? That's a read again. What do we mean by theme? It's a main idea. What do we mean by summarize? To put it all together. Process of elimination. Here's my thinking. Here's what I think happens to a lot of kids. They look at that question. They don't go back to the story because they've never been put in the pattern of, you've got to go back to the story. You see this? Boom. It turns on a switch in the child's brain. Oh, read again. Then you read it again, and process of elimination, you can come up with the answer. You don't try to remember the story in order to read these. Read it again. That's the third type. That's the backhand. When they say the author's message, that's a read it again question, Budsley. Let's look at another one, my friends. You'll see how easy these are. How are the fox and the mole different in this story? Bingo, bango, bongo. Read it again. Contrast the mole and fox. Process of elimination. If it's a big question, listen to me. If it's a big question and it doesn't tell you where to go back in the story, it's a read it again. And compare these answers to what you're finding when you read it again. Process of elimination. That's right, Deb. Let's look at another one. How is the problem of reaching the moon solved? Read it again. Here's how to solve it. How does the fox get to the moon? When you're reading it again, that's what you're thinking about. Because every one of the answers is about the fox. That's right. Graphic organizer in their mind. Let's look at another read it again. Which sentence could best be added to the journal entry to better end the story? Well, you better read it again. And then maybe find and compare some of these sentences to the story. Big question? Read it again. Answers right in front of you? Answer now. Let's look at the 3 strategies. Here's the 3 strategies. Answer now, find and compare, read it again. Here's the super keno suggestion. Oh, you're going to love this. Here we go. You're going to love this. Just give kids the HTS tasks over and over, then have them do HTS and answer questions. Check it out. You need lots of questions, of course. So you flash the questions on the screen. Tell your neighbor, is this answer now, find and compare, or read again? Convince your neighbor you're right. Prove to your neighbor. The game is called Prove It. Prove to your neighbor that this is an answer now. Prove to your neighbor this is a find and compare. What's your evidence? Prove to your neighbor this is a read again. Don't even worry about answering it. Just, what kind of question is this? Boom, here's another. Boom, here's another. Boom, here's another. Overhead, 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 forehand, 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 overhead, forehand. You see what I'm saying? These are big, difficult tasks. You don't just give a kid a tennis ball and a racket and say, go play tennis. You break it down into the smallest pieces. You can tell that maybe I play tennis. Serving is hard. Here's the ball. Toss it, toss it, toss it, toss it. Just get the toss down. Toss it so it bounces at your feet. Then bring your racket back. Then bring your racket back. See, we're telling kids just go out there and play some tennis, my friends, with these reading comprehension questions. There's about 10 different skills you need, so you just figure it out. No. First, get them to be able to identify the 3 types. Then, get them to explain how to solve. Oh, it's an answer now. How do I solve this answer now? Here's another answer now. How do I solve this answer now? Here's another answer now. How do I solve this answer now? Oh, wait a second. These answer nows have different ways to solve them. Here's a find and compare. How do I solve this? What information do I take with me? You see what I'm saying? Break it down into smaller pieces. I haven't even told you how to make it a game yet. Oh, yeah. You're right, Jesse. You can have this by Christmas. You're going to go Federer on my kids. That's great. Repetition Boulevard. That's right. 30 times for the brain to remember. I'll tell you about the game, Screwery Teacher. Just give me a little bit of time here, my friends. But wait! It gets better. It always gets better in whole brain teaching. Let's look at it. Reading comprehension questions are the toughest, so why not just show a bunch of the questions themselves without the long reading passages? You don't even show the reading passages. That's what eats up class time. Give me an O. Don't show the reading passages, just the questions. and let the kids decide which HTS to use. Answer now, find and compare, read again. They get way more reps on reading comprehension questions. That's the problem. The questions take forever for the kids to read. Duh. Yeah. Check it out. Start with a bunch of simple HTS. Answer now. Then mix in a few, find and compare. Then complete the mix with read again. Wow, they'd really be ready to analyze the passages. You could get 50 reps in the time it took you to read 3 or 4 passages. Yes, Goforth is starting to get it. Camira, you're getting it down in Sao Paulo. Another victory for Birdland. Yes, let's hear it for Birdland. Tweedle, tweedle, dee. A victory for Birdland. Cool, but where does the game come in? You guys ready for the game? All right. Here's the game. Biffle's so crazy. You're right. There's only one rule in Prove It. Chris Rexstead, I know you know what the one rule is, my friend. Keep the ref happy. Here comes the game. Look at it. You're right, Chris. Here's the game. You put these 3 columns on the board. Effort, answers, and penalties. And then you put A, B, C, D on the board. That's easy. Now, explain to your kids that if they do a great job on 1.0, maybe they'll get to play 2.0 someday. We use that strategy over and over, and kids eat it up. Penalty points. If students quarrel with you, backtalk, engage in off-task behavior, zing them with a quick penalty point, keep the ref happy. So, now you got the triple scoreboard. Effort, answer, penalty. Kids are not working hard enough, boom, penalty. Don't point out individual kids. Say, oh, we got kids in the back row not working hard enough, penalty point. They complain, oh, you're quarreling with the ref? There's only one rule here. Keep the ref happy. Quarreling with the ref doesn't make me happy. Another penalty point. You ding them with a few penalty points, and man, they're like this. Oh, yeah, got to keep that ref happy. So, that creates organization within this high, intense, answer-generating, effort-inducing game. Penalty points. Keep the ref happy. All right, let's keep going. Now, effort points. Here's the screen. Before students record their HTS or their answers, they score effort points. They use the full turn. They use large gestures. They use props. They revise their answers. They ask good questions. They make diagrams, high energy. Whatever you mean by working hard on these, that's effort points. We're not talking about answers yet. And then give them 1 to 3 effort points per question at the ref's discretion. Let's go over that. So, you got the penalty points, they're off task. You got effort points, they're trying really hard. They're looking at this question, they're explaining to each other, they're talking to this neighbor, they're talking to that neighbor, they're using big gestures, they're using a pencil for a prop, they're making a diagram. Oh, effort points, yes. Good job on question number 1. I'm going to give you 2 effort points. Mighty oh yeah. Oh yeah. See, on the scoreboard, they only get 1 point at a time. They could get 2 effort points at a time, maybe sometimes 3 effort points at a time. Why do we do this? I'll tell you. We want effort. Yeah, that's why we do it. We want effort. All right. Next one. In a nutshell, when kids work insanely hard on a how to solve it or answering a question, the ref is happy and effort points are scored. And they don't have to score effort points every single time. Maybe they go 4 or 5 questions and say, you know, these last 4 or 5 questions you've been doing great on. I'm going to give you a couple effort points here. All right, let's go on to our next part of this game. Let's see that triple scoreboard again, says Mr. Franklin. Sure. Effort, answers, penalties. Now, but wait, it gets better. I think we've heard that before. Here's how we do the answers. When all the students have recorded their answers on their whiteboards, you play QT. And I'll explain that in a second. Students hold up the answer. They don't see anybody else's answer, A, B, C, D, that they believe is correct. While your students' eyes are still closed on the A, B, C, D diagram, draw a vertical line approximately equal to the number of kids who chose that letter. For example, if almost all your students chose A and a few chose B, then the A line would be much longer than the B line. Here we go. That's what it looks like. So they've gotten 2 effort points, they had 1 penalty, and now an awful lot of kids got A. Now you're drawing this line on the board. You're not, listen to me, listen. You're not stopping that stinking count. Just look at the class. Oh, that's pretty good here. Their eyes are closed. Maybe the whiteboard is in front of their eyes. They can't see. You just graph it out real quickly. Don't waste time counting, blah, 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 blah. Just make it quick. Then, next step. Put a piece of paper over the diagram you made. That makes it suspense. The kids uncover their eyes. You slowly remove the paper. They go, ooh, ah, darn. If every student chose the right answer to the question, then the class gets full credit, 1 to 3 points, whatever the ref decides. If some of the class gets the right answer, it's still 1 to 3 points, whatever you decide. Never forget you are the ref. This is going to throw you. This is going to throw you, but pay attention because this is how you keep control of the score. And this is how you keep control of the game and be sure that they're keeping the ref happy. Pay close attention to this scoring. Here's my next screen. My next screen is right here. Important point about scoring. Keep the scoring flexible. This was a hard question and only a few of you got it right. 1 point. This was a hard question, but a few of you got it right. 2 points. This was a hard question. I'm delighted to see that a few of you got it right. 3 points. So you just hand out the points however you wish. Just keep in the back of your mind that you want 10 to 20 points as the maximum number that kids will score. Prove it per day. Tell me if you get that. You're not saying this question is worth this many points, and if you do this, you get this many points. Then the system is using you. You look at the kids' answers, you look at the kids' mood, you use teachers' intuition. You're going to decide, yeah, just a few of you got it right, but you did good. That's a 3-pointer. Oh, everybody got it right. It was easy. That's just a 1-pointer. Keep the ref happy. Just keep those points flexible. You got it. All right. Very simple. You got it, Chris? Chris loves flexible. He's the big smooth. Of course it's rigged. It is. Let's be honest. But you know what? The kids will get it too. It's a game. This is part of the game. They'll be laughing along with you. Believe me. Ask Chris Rexted if his kids aren't having a ball. Now, next screen. Play Prove It with as many questions as you wish. This is the very most important part of the 5-step template. It improves students' test scores. Very important point. 25% of your Prove It questions per day should be review. So go back, go back, go back. When the game is over, add effort points and answer points, then subtract penalty points for the grand total. And here's the question that you're wondering. Cracklin' Corn Pops! What do the kids win? So, they're working hard. They're doing the HTS. They're figuring out, is this an answer now? Is this a find and compare? They're using gestures. They're using the full turn. They're trying to see if they can make that line be really long. They're not sure how the ref is going to score it. It's so intense. The game is over. We subtract the penalty points. We add in the effort and answer points. What are they going to win? I'm sorry, folks. I don't know. I'm kind of tired now. Wow, it's getting late here. Maybe I should just end the broadcast here. Anybody want to know what they're going to win? I mean, is that really that big a deal? Tell me. You want to know what they're going to win? Oh, yeah. Southern teacher. I'll tell you what they're going to win. They win nothing. Rexstead, are you crazy? They got to win something. Rexstead, you're my soul brother. Think about it. 1 minute of recess? Oh, it's better than that. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. I love this part. Look this. Here's the cool part. Got it? Here's the cool part. Allison, you're kind of on the right. A warm, fuzzy feeling? Computer time? Nah. Check it out. Here's the answer. Students win 1 bonus second of Friday Mind Soccer for every point they score on Prove It during the week. So the kids earn the right to do academic review Mind Soccer by scoring highly on state test questions. Prove it! Are you laughing? They get 10 points here and 15 points there. And they've earned, gosh, 80 bonus seconds of Mind Soccer on Friday. Oh my gosh. Now to really appreciate this, you got to know how great Mind Soccer is, and a lot of you do. So what do they win and Prove It? Bonus seconds of Mind Soccer. We only do Mind Soccer on Friday for special occasions. Yes, Nancy, you got it. 1 bonus second per point. Deb, 1 bonus second per point. Love Mind Soccer. Who's your teacher? You got it? Yeah, I know. This is crazy. This is crazy. Check it out. Thus, if they score about 20 points a day, then by the week's end, they've earned 100 seconds of Mind Soccer. That makes Mind Soccer feel like it's solid gold, which is exactly the way it should feel because it's so stinking fun. Yes. Non-WBT teachers, we're going to help you out with Mind Soccer next week. All right. Now, Mrs. Connolly says, wowie, woo wow. She gets it. But what's Prove It 2.0, says Mr. Franklin. Let's just go ahead and give it to you, 2.0. Here's 2.0. It's a long year. So stay with Prove It 1.0 as long as you can. Prove It 2.0 keeps the same rules, same questions, similar scoring, occasionally give 4 points per question, but adds a powerful new task. Students describe how to solve a problem, HTS, then they prove in writing or verbally that one answer is correct and each of the other answers is wrong. That's where we're going with this. Prove It 1.0, lots of reps, lots of practice, lots of easy questions, lots of easy tasks. Is this an answer now or is this a find and compare? Is this a find and compare or is this a read again? How do we solve this? How do we solve this? Lots of that stuff. They get to Prove It 2.0 and then it's time for a new challenge, and kids love new challenges. So now what you have to do is tell me how to solve it, and then under A, explain why A is right. Prove that A is right. Prove that B is wrong. Prove that C is wrong. Prove that D is wrong. That's the highest order critical thinking skill that we have in whole brain teaching, and it comes to us from 6th Street Prep. The principal, Linda Michaels, that's where she starts. I think that's where we should kind of have our goal towards the second half of the year. Prove It 1.0, everything I talked about. Prove It 2.0, then you're really going to get into the writing and the deep explaining. This is why this is right, and this is why each of those are wrong. And if you can explain why these are wrong and these are right, baby, you've got it. You have crushed that state test. That's right. They're not really proving it until 2.0. Because why? We believe in scaffolding. Little. Proving why an answer is wrong is a tough intellectual task. Let's get them there in baby steps. Here's our reasoning. Here is our reasoning. State tests are tough. Play prove it so that kids have slightly harder tasks every few weeks. Stick with answer now questions for a while. Then add find and compare. Then add read again. This is for, the toughest reading comprehension piece. Make the whole thing absolutely as fun as possible. Then go to Prove It 2.0, which involves challenging thinking. Why is the correct answer right? Why is the incorrect answer wrong? This is tough, but also an intriguing new challenge. The newer the challenge, the more engaging. New challenge, engaging. If they've had this challenge for a long time, the longer they had the challenge, the less engaging. And the toughest challenge here is proving things right and proving things wrong. So let's make that a new challenge, second half of the year. And now, my friends, I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to take the Coach B hat. And my friends, I'm putting it on sideways because I'm feeling a little sideways. I'm going to give you Coach B's first ever rant. Yes, I'm going to scratch my eye and get myself ready for the rant. Here's my rant. Never ranted before. I don't know how this is going to feel, but I kind of like the hat being on sideways. I know I got your attention. What's in that water? A rant. Bring it. I'm going to rant. No, it's just water. Here's my rant. We're asking kids to work really hard all day long. Every single stinking day. In whole brain teaching, we don't want to drive our kids into the ground. We want kids to have fun. This is why we weave the golden thread of fun through everything we do. By having different levels of Prove It and lots of other games, we let kids be kids, not cogs in our machine. And also, they learn a whole lot more than in traditional classrooms. And you know what, my friends? My rant is not done. Face it, the immediate emotional beneficiaries of high test scores are adults, teachers, parents, and especially principals. Kids don't learn about the dang test scores until next school year. Let's at least give them as much fun as possible while they're working their behinds off to give us peace of mind. Are you with me? Are you with Coach B on his rant? Let's let the kids have fun. They're working hard to make us feel good. It's the principal's job that's on the way. I'm going to get on camera here. Who's driving this thing? The principal's driving, and the principal should be driving it. But in California, the principal's job is on the line, and when those kids get high test scores, man, the principal feels good. And the kids don't even know it for a long time. So our kids are working hard to make the adults feel happy, to give the parents peace of mind. I'm not so sure how much high test scores mean to kids. Maybe it makes them feel good. But I know what really makes them feel good, and that's having fun. That's feeling like they're getting somewhere. Like they're, part of a team. And that we're working together and we're just having a crazy fun time. Let's let kids be kids. Golden thread of fun through everything we do. You might tell that I've had a little bit of a difficult week with some administrators this last week. We'll talk more about that at some point. But let's have kids have fun. Because they're kids, because it's the right thing to do, and, incidentally, because they'll learn more. Rant is over. I kind of like to rant. I might rant once in a while. Not too often. All right, very good. So, where are we at here? Gosh, Prove It sounds great and I loved your rant. But how could I get professional development credit for this broadcast and a copy of these slides? Go to wholebrainteaching.com. Click on the PayPal button and donate $5.06. 506 is the code number for this program. Within a day, sometimes less, you'll get an email with a professional development certificate and a PDF copy of these slides. Here's the professional development certificate that you get along with the slides. Page 1, page 2. If you'd like Biffle, who's retired, to come to your school, to come to your district, get a administrator to send me an email, chrisbiffle@wholebrainteaching.com. And now the question is, what's next week? But what's coming next week, Tuesday, October 24th? I'm going to tell you, my friends, what is coming next week, Tuesday, October 24th. I'm not just going to tell you. I'm going to give you a lightning preview of what's coming next week. Anybody got an idea of what's coming next week? I'll tell you. Mind soccer. All about mind soccer. That's the game that these kids are working hard for. It's our most fun game. Next week, mind soccer. You're going to love it. You're going to see what this game is that kids love to play and that they're doing everything they can to get involved with on Fridays. All right, my friends, any questions or comments? I think that is just about it. October 4th. Thank you so much, Deb Weigel. October 4th, not October 24th. Next week. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. I did mean next week, next Tuesday, October 4th. You know what? Here's the magic of electronics. Deb Weigel, see if you like that a little bit better. October 4th. Any questions, my friends? Thank you. Thank you back. All right, my friends, I will see you next Tuesday, October 4th. If you want a copy of these, go to PayPal, $5.06. God bless us all. Let me just say that on camera. That's what's so great about doing this from my study. I can say this. Who can stop me? God bless us all. We're in this together, in it to win it, my friends. Power to the teachers. And good night.